Hello.
Good morning, everybody. Today is December 15th, and we have a special meeting agenda for the Board of County Commissioners, and this is the last meeting of the year. And before we start, I did want to make a comment about the tragedies that happened over the weekend, full of hate, guns, violence, and anti-Semitism. And this is the time of year that is supposed to be a time of family, faith, appreciation, acceptance, and joy. And so to hear these repeated incidents that are happening in our country and our world are at the very least disappointing. So I wish everyone great holidays and peace and joy with your families. So first we have agenda review. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I have none.
I have none.
I have none.
And next, we will ask the county attorney who is online to query us about conflicts of interest.
I am unmuting. Jack.
Good morning, Commissioners. The agenda that you just adopted is before you. Please indicate for the record if any of the matters to be discussed and acted on this morning presents a new conflict of interest.
Oh, no conflicts.
I have no conflicts.
I have no conflicts.
Thank you, Commissioners.
And next on the agenda, we have Resolution 25-150, and this is regarding the Early Childhood Council. And presenting today, we have Jerry Brewer, Strategic Project Manager, and Mary O'Neill, Jefferson County Assistant County Manager.
Hello, good morning, commissioners. Yes, so for resolution 25-150, the selecting of Jefferson County Public Health to serve as the region's early childhood council, encouraging Clear Creek and Jefferson counties to make the same selection, and authorizing the chair of the board of the County of Commissioners to sign a joint letter to the Colorado Department of Early Childhood stating that selection. And Mary O'Neill, Director of Grant and Procurement Finance with Jefferson County, will be providing us with a presentation regarding our selection process.
Good morning. I'd like to do a quick audio test. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. And will the presentation be shown there in the room?
I can share it. I can pull it up here. One second.
Ray, do you have the most recent that I sent on Friday?
Did you send it to me?
I think, I'm sorry if I didn't include you. I sent it to Kimberly, but I can forward it really quick.
Yeah, if you forward it to me, I'll just share that one. Thank you.
So we're just looking on the table, we have a copy of the Regional Early Childhood Council Provider Recommendation dated December 16th, and it has a lot of wonderful explanations and analysis and communication about this topic.
And I'm happy just to speak to the presentation if you would like for me to move forward.
Were you able to pull up the?
I just have a draft. I'm waiting for an email from Jared.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so that could be the same one. The title still says draft, but I just forwarded it, the ECC presentation. And there's a couple files, but it's on the only PowerPoint.
Okay. Got it.
And if you want me to show it in the Zoom, I could probably do that.
I'm ready. Thank you.
Okay, are you all ready for me to present?
1 second.
Okay.
It's not.
Ms. O'Neill, I was going to just mention that it seems like many of our meetings recently have had technology challenges, and it's a lesson in patience for us.
I am very familiar with that.
So it should be sharing. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, ready to roll. Okay. And before we dive into the presentation itself, and thank you, Jerry, for the introduction. I'm Mary O'Neill. I'm the Director of Grants and Procurement with Jefferson County. And I have been working with Kate Newman, who is the Deputy County Manager, as well as the Selection Committee on this process. Just to ground us a little bit in the Early Childhood Council background, I wanted to provide a little bit of reminder information. Established in 1997, early childhood councils were created by the Colorado legislature to support a coordinated system of services and promote school readiness for children birth to age 5. Counties were given authority to select their ECCs, and Jefferson, Clear Creek, and Gilpin made a regional selection in 1997 that has remained in place for nearly 3 decades. In 2022, the state created local coordinating organizations, or LCOs, and again deferred to counties to define regions and select providers. 3 counties selected a separate LCO, creating some overlap with ECC responsibilities. Given the length of time since the original selection and evolving legislative mandates, the counties chose to conduct an open and transparent process to ensure the ECC is well aligned with current expectations and future direction. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, for today's presentation, we're going to walk you through the selection committee's process and recommendation for the Regional Early Childhood Council provider. We're going to review what ECCs do and why this decision is important now, the evaluation method we used, and the results. Our goal today is for the board to affirm the recommendation so that once all 3 boards have approved the recommendation, the counties can move forward with submitting the formal selection to the Colorado Department of Early Childhood, or CDEC, before December 31st, which is the deadline. Next slide. ECCs play a system building role, not direct service delivery. Their charge is to bring together partners across early learning, health, mental health, and family support. They align community partners, identify system gaps, and support initiatives that improve school readiness. ECCs also help coordinate professional development, quality improvement efforts and collaborative planning across agencies. Ultimately, they ensure that children and families experience a cohesive early childhood system rather than fragmented access points. Next slide, please. The 3 counties launched a competitive process to select a single regional ECC provider. 2 applications were submitted: Jefferson County Public Health and Child Care Innovations. We used a consistent scoring rubric across reviewers, representatives from all 3 counties. We had 3 commissioners and 3 staff to evaluate readiness, capacity, equity practices, collaboration strength, and alignment with regional priorities. The process included independent scoring, group discussion, and consensus building. Next slide, please. The scoring results showed a clear distinction between the 2 applicants. JCPH scored 510 points, while Child Care Innovation scored 401 points. JCPH scored stronger in every category evaluated, with the largest advantages being in collaboration across counties, equity approach, strategic alignment, and readiness. The scoring and the discussion both pointed to JCPH being better positioned to support a modern, region-wide early childhood system. And during our consensus meeting, on the next slide, if we can move to that, we'll see a statement that the selection committee developed during the meeting. And I'll get to that in just a minute, but the recommendation was unanimous from representatives across all 3 counties. The committee felt JCPH demonstrated the strongest statutory alignment, fiscal capacity, and operational readiness. Their partnerships across the region, existing system building experience, and ability to implement a comprehensive early childhood framework were viewed as major strengths. The committee emphasized confidence in JCPH's ability to meet both current ECC mandates and future expectations under statewide system reforms. And I want to just go ahead and read the selection committee statement because I think they came up with a really good comprehensive statement that reflects their position. The selection committee, comprised of representatives from Clear Creek, Gilpin, and Jefferson counties, unanimously recommends Jefferson County Public Health as the early childhood council provider. JCPH demonstrated strong overall readiness, statutory alignment, and fiscal capacity to serve the region. The applicant exemplified innovative thinking, resilient partnerships, and effective collaboration across all 3 counties. Their established relationships and alignment with regional priorities give confidence in their ability to implement a comprehensive early childhood system. And last slide, please. So the next steps for us are, today we're asking the board to authorize the chair to sign the joint recommendation letter. We do need to submit that, as I mentioned, to CDEC by December 31st of this year. And once it's approved by all 3 counties, we'll begin coordinating with JCPH to establish transition planning with the 3 counties and align with state requirements. The transition will include communication to partners, establishment of governance structures, and alignment with LCO activities to avoid duplication. And that concludes the presentation, and I will be happy to answer or try to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Mary. Does anyone have a question or a comment? She's available.
I'm looking at the regional provider comparison summary, and who were they, JCPH scoring against?
The name of the organization is Child Care Innovations, and that's the organization that's been contracted with since '97.
Okay, so they've always, I was wondering who they scored higher than, they had.
Yes, it was just
And-
the, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah, and prior to, they did go through some changes, but they were known as Triad, Early Childhood Council. Right.
Yeah, since '97, they've been Triad, and they've been through Red Rocks Community College. Yeah. So because the CCI is relatively new, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
I think just under a year.
A lot of the same people, just
Yes.
they created the nonprofit. Any other questions? Commissioner Berman explained much of this to us in a work session, and so we had information about this process and the decision, but we didn't make any decisions in that because we knew that it was culminating in this today, the resolution, and us approving, signing on, and being a partner in this effort. And so Jerry Brewer has been informative to the board as well, just so that you know.
Perfect.
All right. I have no further questions myself. If there are none, I'm ready for a motion.
Move we pass resolution 25-150, selecting Jefferson County Public Health to serve as the region's early childhood council, encouraging Clear Creek and Jefferson counties to make the same selection, and authorizing the chair of the Board of County Commissioners to sign a joint letter to the Colorado Department of Early Childhood stating that selection.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye. That passes 3-0. Thank you so much for your presentation and the history and how the process worked.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Next on our agenda, we have a resolution. This is 25-149. I believe County Manager Rears is presenting this. And this is memorializing or formalizing, I should say, our practice of keeping a certain amount of operating expenses set aside to strengthen the county operations.
Thank you, Commissioners. So that is absolutely correct. The resolution before you is to formalize the practice that's been in place for a number of years to ensure that there's a minimum of 3 months reserved for operating in case of emergency situations so that operations can continue. The purpose to address any temporary revenue shortfalls, unexpected and expenditure increases, economic downturns, national, state, or local emergencies, and other contingencies impacting ongoing operations to ensure that the county can continue to operate in when times get particularly tough. A few areas I'll highlight here is that the goals identified in item 9 in the staff report, that the objective is to get to 6 months of operational reserve. This is establishing a minimum of 3 months. Later on today, we will be talking about the budget for 2026, which does reference that the current reserve amount is 5 months. So we have already exceeded that goal, but just wanted to reference that the minimum established with this would be 3 months. So we already exceeded that. And then under item 7, replenishment, if it's ever if the funds are ever removed for a situation warranting the money to be used, that there needs to be a plan for replenishing the funds over 5 years. And then the last reference I'll make versus the material that's in the agenda, we did fine tune the Appendix A figures. And so the adjusted figures, I'll make my way down, adjusted operated expenditures, personal services, that would be $16,141,092. Operating supplies and materials would be $8,861,570. Professional and contracted services would be $1,236,666. Utilities, maintenance, and other recurring costs, $2,368,521. Insurance, training, and dues, $970,141. Capital outlay and one-time costs are excluded. Those would be 0. So the total operating expenditures in this example, based on most recent data, $29,577,990. So important takeaway out of this is for operating expense per month. That amount in order for the county to operate at this minimal level per month is $2,464,833. And I stand for any questions.
Are there any questions or comments? Of course, we say thank you for you and for Ms. Plamondon having trouble speaking today,
So,
for all of the work on this.
Yes.
so you said we had 5 months of operating expenses?
5.33 currently, yes.
Where is that?
So it's not referenced here, but it's going to be referenced in the budget and it's in the,
Okay.
and I'll reference it in the presentation. So we do have over 5 months of assigned reserves, which are going to be incorporated into the budget that you're going to be looking at the public hearing after 9:30 today.
Okay.
Yeah, so for just a little history, in 2022, we were looking at stabilizing, the budget. In 23, we were talking about, we were asked to set up a floor by the commissioners to finance. And so we had set up a $20 million floor, which included the $4 million for emergency response if there were a wildfire or other disaster, $2 million for acquisition, and then the 3 months of operating. And so that's what we had decided as a board to make sure that the county was on stable footing and ready, prepared. Any other?
Right, and to realize also that the county is also debt-free, so we don't have any outstanding debts as far as having to count into our expenses as well.
Yeah, we accomplished that in 22, and so it was exciting. And at that time, we're the second county. I believe there are maybe 4 now, but 3 for sure that have no debt.
I am only aware of 3, so if there's any more.
3,
we should
yeah.
know, yeah.
I was thinking in CCI, someone else was squeezing in there, but
Okay.
maybe not. It's an important value that we all hold as a board. I know sometimes the public questions where money goes, whether we're making sound decisions, and whether we have experience doing so. And I would say yes to all of those. If there are no other questions, I'm ready for a motion.
I move that we adopt Resolution 25-149, a resolution is establishing a minimum operational expense assigned reserve equal to 3 months of annual operating expenses, including the Tabor Reserve, based on prior year actuals, excluding capital and one-time expenditures.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. Thank you again for your work on this. It's nice to have it set by resolution. Next on our agenda, we have another resolution. This is to establish a acquisition fund. And so this is also something we've been doing for a few years. And so the reason we're doing these resolutions is that County Manager Rears has recommended that we do them so that they're memorialized, that this is the decision that we've made, and for clarity to the public as well. And presenting is County Manager Rears.
Yes, thank you. Before you is the resolution 147. Gilpin County's long-term sustainability and growth depend on secure, reliable water resources. Water availability directly supports environmental protection, economic development, public safety, including wildfire response, and future land use planning. At times, the county may have an opportunity to strategically acquire land associated with water, which promotes its long-term goals. Regional population growth, climate pressures, and increasing competition for limited water rights necessitate the county take this proactive and strategic approach to strengthening its water position. As referenced by Commissioner Hollingsworth, this has been the practice for the county for a number of years now, but this resolution would formalize it. The $2 million is in the budget or in the signed reserves this year. And in the draft budget that you will be considering here later today, it would be, again, an assigned reserve, but just tying it to this resolution for strategic water projects. And I stand for any questions you may have.
No, I'll just add that we had set this fund up, and because we have the money set aside doesn't mean we're going to spend it year after year. It just gives the opportunity for us to seize opportunities when they come up. And so after we set this up, we had the opportunity to purchase the section of the Rudolph Ranch, which includes water rights and water storage. And so it was very opportune that we had set aside this money, and we didn't spend all of it to acquire that, but it was great to just be able to do that and have it already budgeted. Are there any questions or comments?
Did the Rudolph Ranch money we spent was replenished into this year's budget?
Yes.
And
We budget 2 million each year. So if we spend it, we replenish, but if we don't spend it, then it's
Rolls
just
It
there.
just rolls over, correct. Yeah. And it helps us make proactive decisions in regards to growth and that for the county.
And during the original discussions, we talked about other possibilities for acquiring for county purposes. But this particular resolution really focuses on strengthening our water portfolio because without water, as Commissioner Aiken always says, water is life. And water is, I don't know what you say, water is, I don't know, you have.
what we live on. Can't live
So,
without.
so because we've had to set aside or not move forward on some projects because there wasn't water available to support that project. So this will help build up our water reserves and strength. Any other questions or comments?
No.
If not, I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve resolution 25-147, a resolution establishing a dedicated strategic water rights acquisition and development assigned reserve, acronym SW Radar, in the amount of $2 million to strengthen Gilpin County's long-term water position and to protect its water-dependent interests.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That carries 3-0. And again, thank you for your work on this. And this, as I said already, this just formalizes that is what the purpose of that fund is.
And as referenced in the resolution you just approved, both of these will be adapted and put in the master policy book as well, so that everyone has access to it as well.
Our next item is set for 9:30 or later, so we have a couple of minutes. Would you like to go ahead and just do are you going to do a report today, or you're not on the agenda?
I don't have any particular report to share, but if you have any questions regarding anything, I did share with each of you individually prior that the slash yard opened because of the high winds, as you're well aware, and so it is free for residents. Anyone outside of the county does have to pay to use the slash yard. It's going to be open for approximately 2 weeks, and that was, the right thing to do given the high winds and the situation in the county where there was over 100 trees blocking roadways. So,
What is the last date?
21st.
December 21st, get your slash over. And the last day to use your token, if you're a resident, is coming up as well.
I'm sorry.
That this
I
week?
don't have those.
I think it's this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just give it to the chair. You would like a copy.
So in the room are Interim Finance Director Laura Plamondon is handing us a nice bound copy of the 2026 budget, and we'll be starting the public hearing on that shortly. So the three commissioners, the county manager, and Sheriff Armstrong have received a copy.
And I'm preparing the PowerPoint so I can share that when the public hearing is opened here.
The time is now 9:30, and we have a posted public hearing on the 2026 budget. So I'll go ahead and open the hearing now. Presenting to us is Interim Finance Director Lorna Plamondon. And so we'll have her present. Is County Manager Rears going to?
So I
present
do,
as well?
I do have the
Okay.
PowerPoint presentation. Just take a minute to hit some of the highlights.
Okay.
And then I'll defer to Interim Finance Director London to add anything else that I may have omitted. So, as the commissioners are aware, this has taken quite a while to get to this point. We started effort in July. So appreciate yours as well as all the department heads, directors, staff engaged in this process, especially obviously the finance team. We couldn't be here without that, with their effort, especially Lorna's. Introduction, the budget aims to provide a comprehensive financial plan that aligns with the mission and supports key initiatives and ensures sustainable growth. Today, we'll cover the major components of that as part of that effort. Mission, so as we're well aware, we are driven by the mission, the values that the board has established, that we provide a responsive service to protect, maintain, and enhance our unique community, historic and cultural heritage, and our mountain environment. Values include collaborative, equitable, innovative, respectful, responsive, sustainable, and trustworthy. As mentioned, the process started actually in June internally. And then there was meetings with myself, the finance team, and individual department heads from July 21st to August 21st. The draft budget was presented to the board on September 23rd. Then the commissioners had a meeting with department heads directly on October 7th. There were 4 work sessions, all open to the public. And then here we are at the end of the process for budget adoption on the 15th. One additional feature that was added to this process beyond the public work sessions is we fully utilize OpenGov through the process. So the public, the commissioners, everyone had direct access in real time to any changes in the budget in OpenGov through the website. So this is just highlighting that it's important as we go through this process that it is as transparent as possible, since this is public funds. Revenue by type, gaming amounts to about 45% of the overall revenue received, followed by intergovernmental of 7.4. Property taxes are 6.1. Charges for services just over $3 million. Interest earned 1.2. License permitting 347, and then miscellaneous for a total revenue of just over $33.4 million projected for next year. So you can see the gaming revenue over the years. So this year we received just over 16.2 million. For the budget for next year, we budgeted conservatively with a reduction in gaming revenue of 7.5%. So the revenue reflected is just over $15 million for next year. We obviously hope that we'll receive more than that, but obviously we budget conservatively through the process. Mill levy tax summary. Really here, I'll just highlight the temporary tax credit that in next year, 0.577 mills would be refunded back to the taxpayers. Again, for next year, that would amount to $318,702 less revenue collected because of the county's not debruced for the property tax. So the county is for the.
That is Tabor.
That is the Tabor refund. Correct. So here's the list of all the grant revenue received. So there's the individual programs. Total grant that we received from outside groups, agencies are just over $2.2 million. Expenditures, the total expenditures proposed are just over $39.2 million. That's all listed there. I know it's hard to read, but it is in the budget as well. But to break out the sheriff's office, the largest department in the county, their total expenses amount to 28.8%, just under $11.3 million. The second largest department, Public Works, Solid Waste, just over 4.6 million, 11.7% of the expenditures. Full-time equivalent positions, so you can see those are listed there. You can see the year over year, there's a net reduction in staffing, 3.4%. So overall staffing level is declining next year. Capital equipment purchased, Sheriff's Office, the drug scanner, the taser for $89,000, Public Works, the radios, skid steer, various equipment there, $340,000, solid waste, $10,000, lodging tax cistern, $166,348, IT server updates, $12,000, and then there will be 3 vehicles purchased, 2 in the Sheriff's Office and 1 in facilities. Capital projects for next year, a total amount of 4.9 million, close to 5 million. Those projects would be completing the annex, plumbing circulation lines in the community center and justice center, replace the chemical doors at the pool, generator replacement and install, and then the Ronaldville cistern as well. I've referenced the Ronaldville cistern now twice, and now I'll reference it a third time based on the direction of the board, and with the voter approval of the lodging tax for next year, the increase from 2 to an additional 4% from 2 to 6%. The board gave direction to use the lodging tax funds for 2 purposes. So one, essentially a third, would go towards the only net increase in staffing in the organization, the lube and maintenance tech position in Public Works to assist with vehicle maintenance to give that relief to the Public Works crew. The 2/3 of the funds would go towards a cistern in Ronaldville, which has been identified as a high area of need, especially since the devastating fire in Netherlands a couple of months ago. So really, this is the opportunity to express our appreciation and thanks to the voters of Gilpin County supporting the lodging tax, which gave the funds for this particular purpose, so the board could allocate it for the cistern and the staffing position to support the maintenance of our equipment. Ending fund balance is listed there. The overall ending fund balance would be just over $26 million. And as highlighted earlier in the previous discussion, the county is completely debt-free, has been debt-free since 2022, and one of 3 known, though there may be other counties that I'm not aware of, are completely debt-free. Fund balance. So I'll break out where that 26 million is broken out. Highlight here for the table reserves, our minimum amount is 980,000. Open space is 113,000. Assigned donations just over 58,000. Water rights acquisition reserve that the board just approved is the 2 million. The contingency reserve approved in 2022 for dealing with the actual emergencies, paying for the relief effort. And then with the approval of the resolution, the board just adopted again for the 3 months of reserves, which is actually just over 5.33 approximately. That's the $12,324,165. And that leaves unassigned reserves in the fund balance of 199,693.
The unassigned reserves, can we designate some money to, for acquisitions or anything?
We absolutely could do that. But I would say, given this is the last day the budget can be.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Next year,
it's just, well, they're going to be sitting there, right? So,
earning interest if there's a need that arises,
so sometime in the middle of the year, we came up with something,
we could.
we could use that money, as a supplemental budgetary thing,
A
right?
supplemental budget, we could, but that is generally a low balance for unassigned.
Yeah.
I guess we'd have to talk about whether the staff would be supportive of kind of dipping into that unassigned, because the budget is, it's a bit science, a bit art. And so you never know fully with the budget if it's going to be 100% accurate, and having a 200,000 approximately cushion is good, that we have that sort of opportunity to tap in if some other expense is greater than expected.
Yeah, we'd want to leave that because, say, gaming does go down a little more than we projected, that's our cushion there. And we don't get the gaming funds, you realize, until September and October. So it's important that we leave as much money in those unassigned areas as possible.
It's a relatively small amount, but it is that little bit of buffer. And of course, it takes the full board approval for any different spending than what we're budgeting for today. But the purpose of this budget is to give guidance to the staff and let the community know how the money is being spent and why we made certain decisions based on identified needs or unfinished projects. But mostly it's the operating, including staffing for the county to operate. Do you have anything else?
I would just
Right.
defer to Lorna if she wants to add anything.
I don't have anything to add. I would like to say Melanie helped us a great deal with this slideshow and making it beautiful, and thank you, County Manager Rears, for explaining it beautifully.
Okay. Well, now the time is 9:41, and I will open this public hearing to public comment. So as written in the resolution, this is the time for taxpayers to have an opportunity to file or register any objections to the proposed budget or any compliments. Would anyone like to say anything during this hearing? Are there any hands up online?
No one has raised their hand, Commissioner.
All right, after a pause, it appears that no one has a comment from the public. So I will go ahead and close the public comment at 9:42 a.m. And next we have time for any further county commissioners' discussion or comments. Have any?
I'd just like to thank all of the staff for the work that they've done on this. All the departments did start early in the year, starting in July, looking at their budgets, consulting with their staff in each department. And everyone was very cognizant of kind of the strange situation we find ourselves in, a lot of unknowns, and we're very supportive of working and helping us keep costs and expenses down.
And I'll just add that the board gave direction to County Manager Rears to try to reduce overall spending. And I think he's made a valiant effort working with all the department heads. And this is a year that we, as was mentioned, are reducing some staffing and doing some consolidating. And as was mentioned, some questions that we get from the public are why we are dependent on grants. And this coming year, we have 2.2 million in grants. So it is less than some years, but in general, the grants are to get something done. They're usually to purchase something, to shore up a program so that it continues for the public. And so that's part of that. And then also since 2022, we have been spending more on capital. So this year is still a healthy amount on capital expenses. And that had dipped into past reserves that were sitting, being underutilized. And so we were given direction as a board from finance to go ahead and tap into those to get things done. So that's why the capital improvement spending has been more the last few years. And then the last thing is that in general, our costs just keep going up. And so when people ask about why the county budget is so high, that's one of the first things I think we all mention is if you look at your own household and you compare it to 5 years ago, and you look at how much you're spending on each item to keep your own household going, I imagine everything has gone up. And that's what we're faced with. So thank you for, doing your best and your diligence and making some really hard decisions and working with the department directors to explain the goal to really tighten up spending while bringing in some nice revenue to support everything. And thanks for all of your work, Lorna. If there are no other questions or comments,
Well, thanks, Lorna, for a great job, and Ray. Anybody else who worked on this?
right, I'm ready for a motion.
I move that we adopt Resolution 25-148, summarizing expenditures and revenues for each fund and adopting a budget for Gilpin County, Colorado for the calendar year beginning on the first day of January 2026 and ending on the last day of December 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. And so the 2026 budget is now formally adopted. Thank you. And with no more discussion on this, I will close this public hearing at 9:45 a.m. Thank you. We have one more item on our agenda. And Lorna Plamondon is presenting this as well. This is Resolution 25-146, and this is levying general property taxes for the year 2025, and she will explain this.
Yes, this is the mill levy for the county for the 2026 budget year. The main thing is we did have a temporary tax credit of $318,702. And that is for our taper. Overall, everything went up just a little bit as it has been. And that is about it on the mill levy.
And we do have this in resolution form. If anyone in the public wants to see the details, it's posted online and always available to the public. Are there any questions or comments, commissioners?
No. Straightforward.
If not, I'm ready for a motion.
To move to pass Resolution 25-146, a resolution levying general property taxes for the year 2025 to help defray the cost of government for Gilpin County, Colorado for the 2026 budget year.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that passes 3-0 also. Thank you so much. And the last item on our agenda is public comment. Is there anyone, public or press comment? Anyone like to speak?
Okay, come on up. Sorry. Jazz. Morning.
No hands?
Nope.
No hands up? All right. All right. So it is 9:48. We'll close that opportunity. We do have on the agenda, commissioners' reports and comments. And is there anything you want to report in? I'm just gonna pass, and except for saying again, happy holidays to everyone, both staff. And we appreciate their hard work all year round, day in, day out, and all their input. Sometimes we hear the best ideas or concerns from staff. And so it gives us things to ponder and take action on and consider, because the staff are the ones out there doing the work. Anything?
Yeah, I mentioned this at SLT. I wanted to thank some of the staff for making my transition into this position. I know Marcia was helpful, and Ray helped me a lot. I know it was trying at times for my fellow commissioners, but I appreciate the patience they showed with me, and and everybody else involved working. It's been a great first year as far as getting involved in this stuff, and should be smoother next year. since I've mastered some of the skills of computer, like sending a reply and things like that. So I just want to thank everybody, staff and my fellow commissioners and Ray for helping me through some trying times, I'm sure.
Thank you. We're happy to have you.
And I just wanted to thank everyone and staff for having a busy, productive year this year and look forward to having another productive year next year as well.
Well, given there is no further business, we will close this meeting at 9:50. Thank you.
And the next meeting is January 13th of 2026.